Advanced AI and nanotechnology are a reality. So of course, the federal government has created a sinister AI composed of 50 of the worst killers in human history and set it loose inside a synthetic, self-repairing, glass-eating nanotech body. It's a world where an LAPD detective is the country's only line of defense against a famous domestic terrorist, even though there is no way it is within his jurisdiction. It's a rare future where VR is actually as good as you thought it was going to be. Dance clubs still suck, but in a very different way, and sick-ass metal arms are the norm. Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, in the past future world of Brett Leonard's Virtuosity.
Welcome to Yesterday's Tomorrow Today, podcast about movies whose futures have passed us by. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Reinish, and Kyle's a piece of shit. And joining us in the studio, Ari Dibness.
Hey.
Welcome, Ari.
Thanks, Ari.
Hey.
Hello.
Ari came because he likes this movie so much.
He does.
And he watched it within the last couple of years and just was like, I gotta get back in.
The crazy, so that's all being sarcastic because I really don't like this movie. But the hilarious thing is that I've seen this movie now a number of times, including like recently.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything. I was watching it again last night. I didn't remember. I just remember that the movie sucked and Denzel fucking nailed it.
It is.
I think Russell Crowe nails it too.
Okay.
Oh, it's a movie
Yeah.
with like two
Oscar
amazing, like off the wall performances.
This is 5 years after Denzel won his first Oscar.
Yeah.
And 6 years before he won his second. And it's also like 6 or 7 years before Russell Crowe would
It's
win
like
his
4
Oscar.
years, but maybe 5 years before Russell Crowe wins it.
Yeah.
I think this is one of his first American movies. This is the same year he did Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead, which is a fucking awesome movie.
I haven't
If you haven't
seen it
seen
in
that
so
in a while,
long.
it's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, I mean,
Sharon Stone?
Yeah.
I think I cracked the movie too when I looked up and saw this movie came out 2 years after Demolition Man.
Yes.
So I think everyone in the movie thought that they were doing Demolition
The
Man,
new Demolition Man?
except for Denzel, who thought he was doing Othello. So Russell Crowe's just eating the shit out of the scenery, but
Yeah.
because he's doing like a Wesley Snipes, like a
Yeah.
The Maniac.
like
Yes.
the fucking
He's doing a Simon Phoenix.
Simon
100%.
crazy ass character.
Yeah.
And it's just like it plays so weird when you're like Denzel, like, wow, you are a good actor, my friend.
He is really like I had the same feeling watching this movie this time. I was like, damn, Denzel's really just like he can't
turn it off.
can't not turn it on.
But literally everybody else, like all the cops are playing like we're gruff, shitty cops, and
Yeah.
like, you know, everyone's goofy except it just plays so bad tonally because Denzel like just knocks the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And Kyle and I were talking a little bit about this yesterday, but the prisoner Denzel look,
Oh.
so good.
So
Really?
cool.
It's
Yeah.
so
And he's
good.
never
The
looked like
dreads.
that in any movie.
He
And it-
plays a broken man like nobody else
Yeah.
with dreads.
Yeah. And they change it. They just turn him back into Denzel, and I was like, no,
You could've
keep the look.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Now, I loved this movie growing up. I watched it a lot.
This
we'll
would
say.
be if you saw it. If I had seen
you
this
were-
movie when I was like 12, I'd be like, this is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. The blue blood and
Blue
like
blood,
eating
yes.
eating
So
glass.
this is
and-
your Robot Jocks for me.
It's
Yes.
Yeah.
but
that's
also
probably
Robot
true.
Jocks was my Robot Jocks, so I think I just had a lot of those.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching the Goonies; I was watching Virtuosity again. But I had a Virtuosity poster, like from the movie store.
What was
That's
on that? Was it just
fucking
Denzel
hilarious.
looking?
Close up Denzel face, Russell Crowe face over here,
Of
big
course.
glowy blue letters.
Yeah.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
I have a soft spot for this movie, and
Yes.
hadn't watched it until we watched it for our Sunday night movie, like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point.
Oh, God.
Hadn't seen it for like 20 years.
I remember we
before
were
that.
watching it. So I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but we have a Sunday night drive-in where the point is that we're trying to find midnight matinee movies.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes the best of these movies are it's a movie that is made by the director, actor,
Writer, producer,
producer, composer, like Neil Breen shit. So we thought Virtuosity would be a welcome break.
Yeah,
When we
that was like, you need a win. We just watched Virtuosity. I'm like, I don't remember this movie.
It's an automatic A.
I think that there is enough awesome ideas in here that
It's so many cool ideas.
it's so close to being a good movie, but I think you nail it in that half of the movie takes itself way too serious.
Yeah, I agree.
If Denzel was Stallone and had Stallone's acting chops trying to do
It
what
is-
Denzel was
Okay.
doing,
Judge Dredd Denzel. That
Yeah,
would have been
this
fucking
is
great.
perfect.
Yeah.
The only time you could ever be like, if Denzel was only doing
Stallone.
what Stallone was doing in Demolition Man, he would have fucking nailed it.
I think it would be a classic.
It is. There's just a couple weird things, but I think you're right. Tonally is the weirdest thing about it.
Yeah,
It's
then
really tough to
it
reconcile.
makes you realize how stupid it is when he's like trying to get you to feel something with his metal arm and like talking to a guy in VR where I guess there's a threat, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, let's run things down. Let me go through the before. Let me just try to run down the facts of it.
Go,
give
good
a
luck.
little tiny synopsis because, as you know, as you've been a regular listener, we're not so much interested in what happens in the movie so much as we are
Thank
with
God.
what the future of this movie looks like
There's a
and
lot
the
of-
implications
there's a
of
lot
that
of future in this
and there's a
movie.
lot of good future,
But also not enough.
but even though it's only 4 years in the future from when it was made. So this movie was made in 1995. It is set in the far-flung future of 1999, which doesn't. We have to just talk about why they did
Was
that.
it written a decade before this?
But I don't know why they'd set this in the future. Anyway, it is directed by Brett Leonard, which makes a shit ton of sense because that is the guy that directed The Lawnmower Man, and there's some Lawnmower Man shit in this movie.
100%.
Yeah.
And
I have not seen that in a while, but all I know
but
is
I
that
remember
movie,
the graphics vividly. Like anytime I see a movie like Johnny Mnemonic,
Yeah,
we
there's some
watched
Lawnmower
recently,
Man
and
shit.
there's a lot of lawnmower shit. There's a lot of lawnmower, a lot of John Deere tractors in that one.
You get to learn about gas and about pull cords, all the lawnmower
It's
shit.
people that look like Mario 64 is the Lawnmower Man.
I mean,
Aesthetic.
It's worse. There used to be
It's
these
worse than
videos.
that.
So I had an older brother who was like a hard nerd. So we had these videos that had the earliest like 3D rendering.
Mm-hmm.
They were called Inside the Mind's Eye. And they were just literally screensavers that would play like, oh, you're flying into this big mouth.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
and now it's the stars. And it looked so shitty.
Do you still have it?
I know. I don't. Those are the things like passed
Can I
around
buy it from
on
you?
VHS tapes. I'm sure you can find it on like the
So
Internet
put it on
Archive or
YouTube or
something.
something?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they were just literally like what we would think of now as like shitty screensavers, and that is what is mixed in with photorealistic VR.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, Brett Leonard saw that and he was like, "This is my thing. This is my fucking jam."
I'm gonna make this my whole aesthetic
My
for
whole
everything.
It is written by Eric Burnt, who has also written Romeo Must Die, the Jet Li joint,
Mhm.
and
shows.
then Highlander Endgame, a movie I love and was talking about earlier today. That is where movie Highlander meets TV Highlander.
It's good.
And they have to fight. It's pretty good. There's
That's
a vivid sex
stupid.
scene in
It's
it.
good. No, it's good, Joe. You're wrong. It's good.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Is it better
They're
than Highlanders on
cousins.
jetpacks?
They're cousins.
Because that's Highlander 2.
I mean,
There's a low bar
look,
here, Joey.
Yeah.
I'm here for a quickening no matter what. I'm just fine.
I love a quickening.
I'll take a quickening any day.
And of course, the cast is Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, Kelly Lynch plays Dr. Madison Carter, Steven Spinella is Lyndon Meyer. Maybe I hate this guy. The one thing they did amazing was the Dr. Lyndon Meyer. I'm like,
sucks.
fuck this guy. Also, I don't understand any of your motives.
No
idea.
no.
William Forsythe, classic 90s
Rough
FBI
cop.
guy.
Loose cannon.
He's like he's in The Rock. He's just
He's
FBI
great.
guy.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good. And then the young girl who I did not know,
Didn't know that either.
that is a super young Kaylee Cuoco of course,
Wild.
Big
Yeah.
Bang. She's also, I remember I was watching my roommate and he like, as soon as she came on screen, he was like, that child actor is really fucking good. And I was like, she is really good. And then I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
She's
all right.
gonna go somewhere.
She's gonna go somewhere. Bazinga.
I'm gonna look up pictures of her on the internet one day.
In
Google
a
image
totally
search.
tasteful way.
Yeah.
It's
When she's
perfectly fine.
older.
Not the one bikini episode of Big Bang Theory.
She's really good in The Flight Attendant.
She's really good. And she is an amazing voice actress.
Oh,
yeah,
Her
she's
Harley
Harley
Quinn
Quinn.
is fucking
Very
awesome.
She's a
good.
good Harley
Yeah,
Quinn.
she's funny.
She's become like an amazing producer. I really, really like what she does. Anyway, and then just for those of you that are actually interested in the plot,
Just read it.
the plot is a one-armed former police detective turned convict is forced to hunt down a rogue AI constructed from 50 of the most violent killers in human history that has been placed inside a nanotech synthetic body and set loose in a super unfuturistic Los Angeles. The twist? One of those killers murdered his family. Does the ending of this movie make any sense? That's more of a thing that I was saving for the end. That was more of a note.
A little bit of an editorial.
I think technically it does make sense, but I think it's executed very poorly.
Yes. Look, a lot of the plot of this movie is to get to their next future idea.
Yes, I agree.
Well,
Like-
that's that whole Lindenmeyer character. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter why he's doing anything. It's
He was-
because the movie needs to keep going.
Yeah.
He was gonna bring out. Well, let's get into our first, like our soft end to topics here, which is we need it like a future drug segment, but it's like future data storage. I don't know, like a not. I don't
It
know,
is
like a
like-
less shitty way to say it.
It's so weird doing like a new show and finding the patterns of what we hinge on to in each movie.
It's always the drugs and the weird tiny ways to store data.
If there's a tiny CD, we love it. If there's a cube, we're
Love it
into
more.
it even more.
So yeah, they store the AI, whole AI personality and brain computer is in these little crystal cube
Like
things.
Yes.
fiber
A
optic.
module, I guess. They were calling it a module.
like an animation box, like
Like
an
a
amiibo.
Tesseract.
Yes, it's
It's a
much.
little
It's basically a
tesseract.
tiny tesseract.
But
yes.
it's also in an 8-track cartridge for some reason. Like they can't get away with one thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, let's also make it a cartridge system.
Yeah, well, that's like the PSP,
delivery.
the PSP thing to keep the disc safe.
Oh, the
You're in-
UMD?
Yeah, you're in
Yeah.
the shell,
yeah.
but
But you can take it out of it because
you
why
can.
not?
Yeah.
And so
Put
he-
it in a snake.
He
I don't know.
He tricks this other horny, brilliant guy into making a realistic human body
Yes.
by saying, "Hey, we're gonna make this digital sex doll into a human body,"
Yes.
but then switches it for the serial killer for some reason.
For no reason. But the craziest thing is like they already made a thing where you can go in and have sex with this, like, and feel it 100. Like
Okay.
you don't.
But did they?
Guys, we are skipping ahead because I have big questions about that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think that's possible. So I think we have to, let's just talk about AI.
Okay.
In this world, AI exists.
Yes.
Okay.
You can talk to
And
it,
then it-
on
yes.
TV screens that are all stitched together because they couldn't make a big TV.
It is basically the AI that we think will exist in the near future.
Yeah.
But what this government organization has done is made
A
an
fuck
AI made of every psycho killer ever.
and
And
every
then
time
made it Russell Crowe.
they made Russell Crowe out of 666 of the most evil shit.
It's 666. Is that what it is?
It's Sid 6.7. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember the number. I kept saying 50,
I
but I
keep
think at
mixing-
some point
Well, I
he
think he says
says
like
he's
50 megajoules.
he
or
says he's
something.
like a 50 terabyte
Yeah.
neural network or something like that. I
Which
can't remember how many.
I will
people.
give her credit. They came up with like a good high
Oh.
amount of data.
I have a TV pitch
yeah, it
for
wasn't
this
like
show, bud.
365k, you know,
Well,
like,
or like-
kilobytes.
Johnny Mnemonic could hold 320 gigs in his head or something. Like
He wasn't that smart.
I just
well,
like
that was after the doubler. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
it was after the doubler.
The software doubler.
But it's a world where AI is not common, but certainly this secret. It's not even a secret. Certainly this organization, the Law Enforcement Technology Advancement Center, which I can't tell if it's a local Los Angeles thing or a top secret federal government facility or what it is,
Whatever-
but they have AI.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's very unregulated.
It is.
No one has seen what they're
See,
doing.
that's why I think it's LAPD. That's it's just like I don't know.
Yeah.
They made a horny one and a serial
that's
killer
kind of
one.
similar to Demolition Man. And both of these things are like LAPD's just going wild.
They got
don't give a
cryogenics.
shit. I mean, we're coming off the LA riots. Everyone's like, the LAPD's wilding out. They cannot be stopped.
Yeah, this is basically like LAPD DARPA. Like they have a
is,
crazy
really.
amount of money to
Yes.
just do like moon shoots. And like the VR they make though is not just like put on a helmet. It's the dream of like you can touch everything in the VR and everything can touch you.
And you have to actually physically run.
Because
like,
your
which
legs
is-
are dangling
Which
off
is the funniest
You get
thing I've ever
nothing.
said.
No pushback.
That's the amazing thing. Like that's the one thing that I think is pervasive in this world. Like AI is not everywhere, but VR seems somewhat out into the world. But the world that in the intro to this movie, we're introduced to basically the VR that you always wanted, right?
I still love this sequence.
The opening
think-
sequence
Oh,
is really
yeah.
cool.
I think it's really good. Everyone's dressed in the same outfit. Everyone kind of glitches out when they
Yes.
like have to come up with a new routine.
yeah.
Like the food disappears. I think it's really
Everyone
fun.
has the same barks. Like
Yeah.
I was super impressed. It's one of those movies that you're like, wow, this is like 5, 6, 7 years before like Grand Theft Auto or like it's straight up just they nailed NPCs before NPCs were like a thing.
Yeah.
Which
Just
is
repetitive,
crazy.
weird,
Yeah.
like jerky. You guys haven't mentioned my favorite thing about this, which is they're trying to create a simulator to train police in, so that it's like
Yes.
photorealistic of like what your world
Yes.
is like.
Yeah.
And so they dress the cops in blue leather outfits and give Denzel a nice
Well,
little
it's-
blue leather hat that he runs around in to train them.
They look so
That's going to be
fancy.
their future suits, I guess.
But they're kind of positing this is currently how cops dress, and then later you see no,
They're not. No, they're just
none of that.
This is the thing is like within this. Anyway, I feel like we're skipping around too
Yeah.
much.
There's
but we
so
have
much
to talk
happening
so
at all
much.
times.
It's all
There's so much future.
constantly goes in. There's not.
There's also in this future, but only in the VR future, there's a hologram just in the middle of the walking paths.
That's actually true.
But
yeah.
it's humongous
Yeah.
and it's only like a PSA head and it looks fucking terrible. Whereas like everything else is photorealistic,
Yeah.
but inside the VR, like the hologram.
yeah.
So it's like, is that technology in the greater world? That's why they're replicating it?
Maybe it was a period
know.
piece inside the VR,
But what period?
like earlier.
The future. the future.
1995.
Yeah, the future of.
Let's
of
see. This is 1999, so 2003.
It was an old program simulating a hostage situation in the future, but it was made like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're already past that. So it's yesterday's tomorrow, today.
Jesus Christ.
This makes me want to die.
Yesterday's yesterday,
Yesterday's
but they're
yesterday's
tomorrow today.
I hope this
tomorrow.
is a first for the podcast.
Yeah. It really
Will we all
is.
self-destruct and throw up? Yes.
There's no evidence of that, but we can assume, obviously.
It fulfills the criteria for this show twice.
Yes, I was gonna say along those same lines. So like they have, which is what I do like about this movie is like VR is just you're living your life. Like it looks super realistic. You can run, you can jump. The thing at the end where you see Denzel sprinting is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and he must have felt like a fucking idiot. shooting
Oscar
them.
winner.
No, he
Yes.
probably felt amazing because
Yep.
he's acting this shit.
Yeah.
They could have just like Matrixed it. Like they could
Yeah.
have just had like you jack in
Yes.
and then you're in the world.
You should do that. I
Yeah.
mean, Johnny Mnemonic had that, but this is what I was gonna say is if you jack in, then so this is the other thing. So AI wise, we have two AIs. We have Sid 6.7, which we'll get to. We know he's the murder one.
Yeah.
But the important one, weirdly enough, I feel like that all of us want to talk about is Sheila.
Sheila.
Which is just a sexy lady AI that the doctor has made to be his chess partner. But then there's a horny guy, engineer, who is in charge of the nanotech technology that wants to fuck this AI.
But he wanted to get in the machine. He's like, I want to go in
and this
there.
is like, he was like, I want to go in there. And
Let
I was
me
like,
at it.
So that's what I'm saying is like, what would that even do? Because there's not like,
He would be thrusting like Denzel
but,
was running.
but you wouldn't feel anything. There wouldn't be any haptic
But they-
feedback, right? Like they don't have a dick shield. teeth attachment for you to fuck in the VR.
I get, but
Maybe
they
they
still
do.
killed that other inmate when he died.
Yeah, but that's his brain.
His
That's
brain-
that's
but
Matrix
isn't
rules. You die
sexuality in the
inside-
brain?
It is the biggest erogenous zone.
Yeah,
Joey.
your brain.
Yeah, sure.
When your
Yeah,
brain
you
gets
know,
a hard on
Yeah, man, I've come a bunch just thinking about it.
in your brain.
Yeah, in my brain. I've come in my brain a lot. I don't know. I guess I was like, I don't understand how that would work. I don't know what this guy will get from just like look at. I guess he just gets to look. He just gets to be in the 3D world
And be
with her
like-
and just stare at her.
I mean,
Like,
I bet you could like, you feel the touch.
No, I think it's like
There must be
it's
some sort of-
diodes or something on your brain because like when Denzel got shot and like felt the bullet getting pushed and he like recoiled like
so there
this
must be
hurts.
some sort of haptic feedback going on, but it's all from the brain.
Or maybe he did make a dick sheet and they
But,
just
like,
kept it out of
Maybe they
frame.
did. Trust me, this doctor definitely did.
Okay, I just want to put this. I know that this is saying it's like more future tech than what we have.
Yeah.
But I have a VR headset, and during the pandemic,
Yes.
I did this VR meditation program
Okay.
where it's constantly just like zooming you down through a tube, and it's you have to do like kind of a meditation-esque hum or chanty sound, and it reacts to your voice.
Sure.
And I would do that like over there
Okay.
when Kim would be home. But even that, my wife maybe opening the door and talking to me and I didn't know she was there was like enough to make me paranoid that I was going to get freaked out, that somebody is going to like walk into my VR space.
Yeah.
I can't imagine fucking someone on a 3x3 TV wall
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, no, everyone's out of the room. I'm just going to have sex with this Sheila
well,
robot.
first of all, I don't think that guy needed everyone to be out of the room. I don't think that guy. I don't think it because I think you need someone to take you in and out of it.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think you
he
can.
might
just,
as well have been licking his lips and rubbing his hands together
Yes.
the entire time.
Yes.
Can you install me in the fuck machine, please?
By the way, that fuck machine is Benny from The Mummy.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. That guy's a good sleazeball.
Oh, I was
But
just about
he
to say
also-
that guy's white. and in
also-
The Mummy, he is not supposed to be.
Ooh.
Oh wait. What guy from the Mummy?
He's Benny from The Mummy. He's like he's got the fez and he's like he's Brendan Fraser's little
North
shitty
African
gross
man.
buddy.
Yeah.
He's definitely not supposed to be a white guy in that
Got
movie,
it.
for
Okay.
sure.
Well, he's a genius.
He's a genius, but like if he's that horny, he made something to fuck already.
Yeah,
Like,
he already did it.
He
Well, he
doesn't
did.
need.
Yeah, it's a
He
snake.
also doesn't care about personality. Like he doesn't need the AI in there.
And I love also we're jumping over to the nano machines and everything.
Yeah.
And I love how influenced his birthing process is from like a species-esque angle.
Oh, it was amazing.
Good.
I don't know why. If you're like he
The butt plug cocoon. Is that what you mean? The purple,
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
that anything that he births out of the nano machines has to come out of this giant cocoon egg thing.
Yeah.
Is a great choice.
That has
It-
like it's like a flower opening up.
I
Yeah.
have to be honest, like I do genuinely like that a lot. And they definitely only made that decision because at some point someone was like, "Hey, wouldn't they notice that it's not a sexy lady?
As it's
Wouldn't
being
they
built.
notice that it's not a sexy lady growing?" And you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, all right, we'll put him in a cocoon."
I have this Cronenberg thing that we're working
What's
on.
the justification though, outside of the movie for having the giant egg? Like plot wise, we can't know that.
Oh,
it's
you mean
a woman.
science wise?
Science wise, why did
Yeah.
he? Is
Well,
because
have you
Well, I
have you
mean-
birthed an android, Joey, from nanobots?
Listen, it's movie
haven't.
science.
Yeah, you
Here's
don't
the
know
thing.
shit about this.
It's movie science. And it's
most perfect
TV
form.
science. All you need to know is just like we're making this thing, and then as soon as you see an egg as an audience, maybe you're like, "Oh yeah, it's an
Birthing.
egg."
Birth.
Yeah, that's it. There's no
Yeah.
other reason for
It's
it.
Easter.
You don't need to know anything else.
It's
In the
a
world.
Christ allegory.
Yeah, I guess in the world, what would it mean? I mean, I guess it just functions like I don't know why nanobots would need like
Yeah.
an incubation egg, but
It would make a lot more sense if it was like some kind of actual Cronenberg organic-y thing that was growing out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he needed this
Like-
to be half.
like out of a
Yeah.
petri dish, it just kind of like
Yeah.
raised up out of
Maybe
it.
there's like some goo that the nanobots need to like move in.
Oh, it's
and this
suspended
is like,
in something.
This is a goo holder.
Yeah, they fill
Yeah.
it. They fill it with the goo. To
Well, he
dispense
definitely
the
had like
nanobots.
Yeah, there you
petri
go.
dish, like almost like fancy petri dishes full of nanobots and shit. It was very.
It's a very cum-based version of nanobots.
It is
where it's a fluid suspending the nanobots.
These nanobots, like if those were real, the entire world would be different.
You
Like-
mean dead?
Well, with the AI, but like
Well-
even without it, like everything would be different.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you would not have heart disease anymore. Like you could just like send little nanobots in and to like clean up all your arteries and shit and like fix connections in your brain. So like it has huge implication. Once again, it's another technology that I'm like, I don't know if this is widespread in the world or if the LAPD are the only people that have nanotechnology.
I
Just
think
this
this is a new
sleazebag.
thing because he's even explaining it to Dr. Scary Guy.
Okay, so you don't think this is wide in the world?
No, I think this
Yeah.
is like this creepo is like made this
He's
project
the only one.
and no one fucking knows that it's like this game-changing
It's
world-altering
like,
thing.
it's not just that like there are these little bugs that can build anything when they eat glass for
Yeah.
some reason. It's
only
like,
glass.
only glass.
It's like silicone or something.
It would have been great if some point of like he goes to try to eat glass to fix himself. He's like, ah, shit, it's lucite. Like, oh, god damn it.
It's his poison.
Cheap
Fiberglass.
fuckers.
Ugh.
Yeah. But like these things ran on some unknown power source
Yeah.
forever. Like
Yeah.
they would need nuclear
Nuclear.
Some sort of core.
reactors or some plasma technology or like something that would power these forever.
That's
Yeah.
the fluid.
That is small, but like that's the bigger
They run
like,
on
innovation.
matter.
Like
They run on matter.
if there's some renewable energy source that just can power these tiny bugs for forever, like that would change the world even more than the bugs probably.
Well, that it's just the fault of the movie not going one more office over.
Yeah, they
and
should've.
finding
Yeah.
the person that invented the fluid the nanobots are in.
he was too busy fucking it. He was even pervier than
Yeah.
the nanobot.
Yeah.
What was
But
it?
it was just a pile of goo. It wasn't even like in the shape of a
Well,
lady.
that's the other thing I also can't quite understand because there's the nanobots, but then they're suspended in a thing called the colloidal solution,
Yeah.
which is the blue blood, which looks rad.
It's
obviously
it's
in
a
this.
good thing. Yeah.
But like I don't quite. I mean, is that the stuff that's? I don't
That's-
know. What
yeah,
is
I
that
don't know
doing?
either.
Is that just
It's
facilitating?
just blue. It's
I mean, I
gross.
guess to be a realistic nanotech humanoid, you need to be kind of gooey and soft,
yeah,
right? I
science,
guess.
yeah.
I don't
There's
know.
got to be something
Yeah.
for them to like swim around in.
To
Yeah, and to like
adhere.
form, I guess. I guess they're kind of like, I don't know what they're doing.
If you touched it, would it like come away sticky? Like, would you?
Maybe there's too much friction without it, and they would all like you're right. They need to be a little gooey so they don't just all rub and blow up.
Yeah, I guess they would just be because they are all like little tiny metal boys. So I guess if they all rub together, a bunch of them together,
Would be too
it would
hot.
be too
Or
much
maybe it's-
friction,
it's-
right?
it-
And too warm, maybe.
Yeah, I was
that's a
gonna
good
say
point. Maybe they're
transference of
running.
heat.
Maybe they're running hot.
We're scientists, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're being powered by something like very small, or like if you're talking about atom, like literally splitting tiny atoms or electrons or whatever to create energy within these tiny boys, we're talking
Tiny
billions
nuclear
of tiny
reactors?
nuclear reactors, right? Within these little bots.
And they're just swimming around in blue coolant because,
Yeah.
as we know, blue is
Blue?
cold.
Blue is cold,
very
cold.
Yeah.
We know that for sure.
Fact, science fact.
It
Blue
could
cold.
also be, this is what they got to send like brain synaptic signals through the goo so that
Yeah.
they all can like coordinate. And when they're eating their glass, they're like, oh, I need some
No,
glass
no,
back
no,
here.
no, 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 no,
Pass
what do I
back
need?
here.
This is a kind of a deep pull.
Yes.
But after describing this person being formed of a pile of goo and nanobots,
Yes.
what it feels to me the consistency of Sid actually is that scene in Futurama when the professor rubs stem cells all over
Yes.
his face
100%.
and it makes him look different, but if you like would touch it, it would
Mhm.
kind of like goo apart.
Yeah.
Like if you punched Sid really hard in the side, you would chip off a pile.
I was gonna say
of
I
goop.
don't know if he's ever punched, right?
No, but
I don't know if he
he's
ever
fucking
gets in
bad
a-
at being like a villain because he gets shot and dismembered like every time.
But that's
he
because
ru-
it doesn't matter.
He was just born, Joey. Give him some slack.
he
He's
doesn't
a baby.
know how
just
it-
learned what gravity was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just got his naked ass.
Let's be real. If an AI came into the real world, he'd be spending all his time touching his junk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's all he'd be like, whoa,
oh my god.
I get it now.
There's a weightiness.
Gravity.
Interesting. Why are they on the outside? Seems bad.
There's a lot of amazing technology in this world used for very stupid reasons, including just the overall VR rig in general, just to be used to train cops, but it can also kill you. It's that thing that Lucky Palmer was inventing in real life. He's like, yeah, it's a game where, if you lose in the game, it shoots you in the head. And I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Okay, cool, bud.
Yeah, I'm not getting in that.
You should try it, you dipshit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like how, no bag on cops here, but like how sophisticated does this have to be? Like, what's their job?
Ari, you have an agenda.
You know what it reminded me of is like a year ago. I remember for sure we all read it. There was that like, "Am I the asshole?" post on Reddit where the guy was like, "I've spent over 500 hours in a flight simulator, and so I demand that my girlfriend call me a pilot."
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like cops are like, "Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time in this simulator. I'm ready to go. I'm
fighting a serial killer."
a fucking serial killer. I'm probably ready to not shoot black people.
I guess I mean,
in the streets.
first of all, Ari, they're not teaching him to not do that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's very clear. They're not teaching
Sid
him.
is shockingly white. That's the biggest thing.
They did. It is funny. They did make him white.
Yeah, they did.
Well, because I do think they fed a lot of white guys into him. Is what
That's
all the
that's true. All the
murders,
actual murders.
when they go to the doctor's house. First of all, when they go to the doctor's house and they show the CGI representation, the Lawnmower Man sequence
Of his
how he's trained, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. First of all, because it's like Hitler shooting a beam of light out of his open mouth into, I don't know, a child's
like
face.
a little baby head.
But yeah, it's all white guys. Is what I'm saying. It's all of them. It's so funny. God.
I don't want to jump around, but that was another piece of future technology, which was so fucking funny to me, which was like, oh my God, he's got a future computer. You just talk to it. It was basically like dragon speak naturally. It's like, oh, he doesn't have a keyboard.
What do they call it?
You talk to
It's
it.
a voice actuated computer.
Actuated.
It looks, it's like a huge boxy monitor, but it's voice actuated, so it's fine.
And
I love that shit.
you guys like kind of briefly touched on it too, though. I love their mix of the VR space that is realistic Russell Crowe or
Yes.
Sheila, and then screensaver backgrounds, where it's like we can't be bothered to do the background part of it, but we can only do super realistic thinking, feeling, like realistic person, but you're
Yes.
still going to be walking through like the sand timer screen.
Well, that's what makes me think is like, that's just Sid's like home.
Did Sid
That's where
make
he-
that?
Like he just lived. Well, no way. He
No,
would
you
make
don't
that.
think
because
he
there's like
generated
chess
it?
games and stuff around from when the doctor was like, "Yeah, I play with Sheila."
But like, with normal video games, somebody has to model every single little fucking thing in this world. Like somebody modeled everything in the future LA where like Denzel was running around, and then they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna model this crazy head that spins
Well,
around.
this is what I was gonna say. I guess this is like a thing where I'm saying is like what Joey's describing when he talks to the doctor. I think of that as like the loading screen. Like they didn't want to. They don't want to
simulations.
Yeah. They don't want to put all the processing power
They just need something.
and the effort into putting it into a full simulation. So they're like, we'll just put him in Lawnmower Man mode.
Yeah, no,
where he
that's a
just
good
kind of
point.
like
Low
that's
res.
his house.
Yeah.
So
No wonder
that
he's
just means,
pissed.
yeah,
It
he's
sucks
just
there.
a totally 3D photorealistic model living in Lawnmower Man world
until they let him loose to kill people
For some
for
reason.
no reason.
for no reason. Well, I mean, like not even in real life, even in the simulation.
Yeah.
He goes and eats sushi and then just
Well,
like
that's
murders
the thing.
a bunch of people.
Once again, we're bouncing around a lot, but what does the simulation get us? What are they?
Trained cops.
But
That's
what are they learning? Like, what are they like? Like they just.
Is it just field practice?
That's
Like,
what I don't understand.
But I don't-
Like, why
they're
do you
not-
need 50 killers within Sid? Like, you just have like a simulation of some guy walking and like shooting in a bank or something.
Yeah.
It's got to be unpredictability.
But my thought would be, but let's be real. Okay. Let's think of the movie The Snowman.
I've never seen.
You had all the clues.
I've never
Mr.
seen.
Policeman.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point is, I feel like the point of having every murderer, every serial killer, everyone ever in this guy is not to put you in a simulation where you're trying to find him at a sushi restaurant and confront him. It's about the long term of like, here's a murder scene he did. You let him commit a
the
murder.
chase, the
It's the
detective work.
chase and the detective
Yeah.
work. That's
Yeah.
how you train them. Like, it's not like you just
No, that's a
follow
good
them to
point.
a sushi restaurant and,
And
they
then blast.
listen. That's a better opening to a movie for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not a good training module
In
for
your leather-
detectives.
Leather blue suit.
Yeah.
and the only clue being that the sushi restaurant was named after an emoji.
An emoticon. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. An emoticon.
Emoticon.
Yeah,
They don't
they're
have
not
emojis in the
emojis. Those
future.
were too early.
Those
Yeah,
already.
they couldn't even predict emojis back in 1995.
We got realistic computer you can get killed by, but we have not turned colon parentheses into an actual face.
Face. Nope, couldn't do it. How would
do
you
it.
do it? That's stupid. Pictures on your computer. I was gonna say on your
Shit.
phone,
Oh, like,
and I was like, no one has a phone.
Yeah, no one has a phone.
No one has a fucking cell
Yeah.
phone.
They use they use payphone still.
Yeah.
Man, scripts were so much easier to write back then.
Okay, talking about that there's no cell phones. I just want to address this really quick because I think we're leaving the part where we're talking about super hyper realistic stuff and we're going to start to get out into the real world outside of the real world, LA,
Yeah.
which is not very futuristic.
It looks very
Overall.
similar.
It looks very normal. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Chevy Blazers. Okay, is what I was gonna say. Why did they set this in 1999?
They didn't have to.
They did not have.
They
It's
did not have.
baffling.
Like,
I
it's-
don't know.
The
All
future jail? That's the only place where you go back to the future.
Is it even a future jail? Because it's just, I mean, there are
Oh.
Nazis in the future jail,
They
so that was familiar.
they have they have a scanning laser beam that can like
Yeah?
see. It's basically that thing at the airport that
Yes.
like you put your arms up and it,
Yeah,
but it's a laser that you can see and it goes down his body to scan him, so they don't have to like cavity search him.
yeah.
But they still, for some reason, have
Cavity search him.
they have a guy who's just watching him naked, which
Yeah.
is totally unnecessary. Like they didn't need a screen so Denzel
Yeah.
could see the guy watching him
I guess
naked.
the only thing about the future jail is that it's all automated and you don't need a guard or an escort, right? That's the only, and the laser scan. I guess that's
Yeah.
the only thing about the future
And-
jail.
And you can have random fights between two prisoners, like out.
By the way, that jail looks like it's about to be a musical setting. Like all the silhouettes of the guys in the
It's-
paper, I'm like, this is almost Chicago.
it is almost like that Elvis movie.
Yes!
Yeah,
It's
almost
so
like
close.
That Elvis movie.
I-
I think inexplicably is the blast shield sized doors.
Yes,
As if the criminals in there are all radioactive and
Yeah.
will explode.
absolutely.
They might escape.
They might escape.
The door is 3 feet. It's like a bank vault from a 1920s like bank heist where it's 3 people are pulling it open. And it's like,
But this is, so once again, even future jail is like, why, if you're making this movie and it's 1995, you're releasing it. So you're making it in 1994 probably.
Mm.
And you're like, or even you're writing in 93. All this stuff is so advanced.
maybe the day after you came out of Demolition Man in the theaters. in
maybe
1993.
you did, yes. But the whole point is, I guess I'm just like, why set it in such a near future? And also, you don't have to, because all you could do is just be
not
like,
mention it.
no, you just are like, we're in 1995, but there's this secret facility
yeah.
that has all this advanced technology and there's a future jail. Like, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
That's like the easiest buy-in for any audience is that, yeah, with this secret organization has secret stuff.
I think that's exactly what they did, but they set that in 1999. So I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah,
just-
I actually... I think you're right.
Because the
I don't know. It's even weirder now. You're 100% right. They were like, no, it's not 1995 and there's a secret organization with things. It's 1999.
But there's a secret organization. It's not the future. It's just a secret.
It's even more inexplicable.
Do you think anything will be different in like 3 or 4 years? Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there'll be different stuff, but it'll be secret.
There will be voice-actuated computers.
Voice actor.
Actuated.
Fuck.
So let's talk about your favorite thing, which is the VR in the real world used as a DJ equipment.
It doesn't make any
Is
sense.
it VR? They had helmets,
They're VR helmets.
but they're like,
Umbilicuses.
yeah, like there's big hollow plastic tubes coming at them. Like, is it pumping in secret air stuff, or I was
Secret
very,
air.
I was very confused by that.
I guess my thought was, and this is exclusively me making this cooler than it is. So he goes,
Robot bar.
Sid goes to a nightclub in LA, and it's terrible. But in the middle of it are 2 DJs, and they're wearing VR head rigs and that are connected to the ceiling, like Ari said. But then they kind of have like touch, like almost like loop.
Yeah, they have looping,
little-
but also
stuff,
they're like sampling pads.
yeah, and stuff like that.
But
They're
also they're like,
there's electronic drum kits, but they're raised.
So
Like,
my
they're little
thought
mounds.
was,
and they balls.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
my
mounds.
and my
Yeah,
so
mounds,
my
they
thought
say.
was that the VR is some sort of overlay
Ah,
for
Okay.
those, because
I like
nothing
that.
is. That's the cool version.
Yeah.
Almost no one put that much thought into it, but
No,
like
yeah.
in my mind, they need it to see
It's not
the
future
DJ.
air
to-
that they're pumping in.
no, it might. Well, it can be future air, and it can also be like Minority Report sort of
I
like
could see that.
overlays of
Display.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
it's actually
guess.
nanobot air. It helps
Yeah.
them think
Nanobot
faster.
air. Yeah, they're huffing
Where's
it.
blue goo though? They can't be nanobot air.
It's just raw nanobot.
Oh, it's
Uh,
raw
dust.
nanobots.
If you inhale a couple raw nanobots, you're
Dead.
like good for the night until you get like a really hard fever.
But I guess I was like very interested in this club and how the DJs work, because I think it's the only time that they're in the real world outside of like the lab that is like
Not
truly
normal.
futuristic.
Somewhat
Like
futuristic.
like truly like they went out of their way to be like there's a lot of future technology in here. But that's the thing, it's inconsistent throughout the rest of the movie. Nothing else is futuristic.
No. But
In
I
the
think
real world.
the thing that you haven't even brought up yet that I think is tripping up the whole thing the most
Yeah.
is the robotic bartender.
It doesn't make any sense.
Shit.
Who's very not. It's like prosumer level bartender,
Yes.
where he's like can kind of hang, and he's very realistic looking.
He
and-
looks exactly like a person.
yeah, with like almost like fake mannequin lines
Yes,
down
yeah.
in the face. But like what I think that is a guy pretending to be a robot.
Yeah, that's a cool club.
yeah,
Yeah.
They pay.
he's
the
just trying to
fake
be to
robot.
If
If
they
blend
did
in
not,
with the,
if he did not blow it up, you would have been like, oh, that guy's doing a robot impression.
He's a goof.
Yeah, he's just a little
What a
goof.
goofer.
This is his shtick. It's fine.
It's annoying after a while, but give it to him, man.
It is weird. So I don't know if that. So this is the thing where it's like, okay, so VR is outside in the world, but I guess it's just at high end clubs, and then I guess robots are out.
just the one.
But nowhere
the
else.
one.
They don't help with anything.
but nowhere else.
bartending.
But it's like, wouldn't you think you'd see it at like a help desk in
Everywhere.
like some building, or like just doing stationary
yeah.
busy work, or like something like that?
Especially
Like-
if in the movie world they only had to look like that. They could have easily.
well,
put
I
those
think of
everywhere.
like
Yeah.
like
not a lot of money.
I feel
Yeah.
like the implication of that world would be very similar to a Total Recall, where like you have the taxi drivers that are just like a torso,
Torso
up
up,
that
yeah.
look realistic and are
Yeah.
like, where are you going?
Yeah.
But
That's the only time that we have anything like that, right? That's
yeah.
And it's so different from every other technology. That's the
Me-
other thing is like they have this like weirdo cocoon technology. They
Yeah.
have this VR
That's
technology, and then they
secret.
have like
And it's so cool though. It is secret, Ari.
It's secret.
My bad. It
It's
is
secret
secret
cocoons.
4 years from now.
Secret cocoons. Secret AIs.
Secret nanobots. Maybe it was just like a fun robot club.
I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to figure out. I think this movie really makes it difficult for you to suss out what the world is actually like, because I didn't see a lot. Like, it feels like there's a lot of technology, like just in the club alone, there's a lot of technology in here that should change how the entire world operates.
Yeah.
And you don't see it anywhere else. Everywhere else, it's like tube TVs and like,
Because they're pores.
I mean,
You can't afford the Mound
don't-
computers or
You're right.
the Mound instruments.
The mountain, but
Voice actuated computers.
Or
But-
voice act. She's a doctor.
but there are full on perfect metal arms, and like so we've like
Oh, and synthetic
perfected.
skin.
Yes, so we've perfected artificial limbs, which I guess is
There
a
could have
cool
been-
detail, but you can't show that
Yeah,
in the
say that
movie.
they were everywhere, Kyle.
You know,
they were
yeah,
in
I was
every
gonna
scene.
say everyone was missing a fucking limb in
Yeah.
every scene.
That's how good they are. You didn't know.
I mean, it's pretty cool. My only issue with the arm thing is that, and this is a movie issue, if you give your character a metal arm,
Fucking
they got to use
Yeah.
it more than one
There
time.
was
More, I guess
no
they use it
change.
twice. He punches through glass one time, and then he uses it at the end to defuse the bomb. But
Right.
it's like, metal arm should be coming up all the time.
He could have punched through glass with a human arm.
He could have done any number of things with the human arm, I guess so.
You just needed
Fucked
one
him up.
really good metal arm spinning back fist to like
Yes.
see it mess
Something.
up Sid's face. or
yes,
something.
and that's what you
Yeah.
wanted his face to splat
Like
and then
T-1000.
and then
Yeah.
reform.
yeah.
That's all you wanted. That's all anyone wanted. I
Maybe
wanted
maybe
his-
this was the suffering from too many notes from too many different people. Where it's like, okay, we got Lawnmower Man guy, so he's gonna do his lawnmower thing.
we gotta have the graphics.
He's gonna do that. Okay, I'm a big Cronenberg guy, so we're gonna do a cocoon thing. And then some other guy was like, robot arm. They're like,
Absolutely.
Jax
"All
from
right."
Mortal
Yo, I
Kombat.
just played this video game.
So they just throw it in, and no one was there to be like, let's not do all these ideas.
And then I
guys.
want Denzel Washington.
And then I want Denzel.
Oscar winner Denzel Washington.
My roommate was like, why does Denzel do this? And I was like, Denzel got eat, man.
Yeah, he got a lot.
Denzel got eat. And also, no one sets out to make a thing thinking it will not come together. Like, that's just not a thing. Everyone acts in good faith, I think, until it just doesn't happen.
I think I don't know based on the plot of this and how old it is and what the story they were telling. I don't really know simple tweaks that could have made this not what it is already. Like, I feel like they made an R-rated
yeah.
Demolition Man-esque thing, and I think they just acted too hard. And I think they got what they wanted out of it, to me,
Yeah.
because it's so stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine them being like, no, we thought the movie where the cyborg eats glass and repairs his arm. I thought it would be better than
it
this.
is, once again, it's inconsistent across the board. It's inconsistent in its portrayal of the future, 4 years in the future, and in the technology and like how widely available it is and tonally, and just like, yeah, it's just a weird movie, man. Super weird.
The way that the nanobots chew through glass in sort of that, like, if they have a giant pane of glass, they can kind of paint like
I
a.
kind of like
It
that.
still
hole?
looks good.
It's
It like
cool-
still held that image in my mind.
It's a
from when I
cool-
used to watch.
It's
it.
a cool effect. I think, I mean, as much as we're like, this show is not about ragging on these movies, even though I think a lot of these types of movies often lend themselves to not being kind of like B movie quality,
Yeah.
things like that. I do think that, like, and you said at the beginning, I think there's a lot of really cool ideas. I think there's some really fucking dope visuals. I think, like, in general, like, I would recommend it that you watch it just because I think it is a fun movie to watch. I think you should be high or drunk.
It's very
Certainly.
It's a very of the time inexplicable.
If you could watch this in a full theater,
I bet it would be great.
it would be amazing. But I don't want to rag. I don't want to rag on it too much. Like, we can't really, like, we're 2/3 of us are in the business. We know what it like. There's too many factors that can make a thing not good. that just happens. There's nothing we can do about it. But I was gonna say that anytime I watch these movies, I watch it with a fine-tooth comb in a way that is distressing to me, if I'm honest. And there was one line.
Okay.
At the very end.
Is this the odds and ends?
Yes,
segment?
this
Okay.
is the odds and ends. So at
This is your Back to the Future
it
totalitarianism.
is. Yes, it is.
This
Yes,
is your
it's the
crisis
same
again.
thing. It's the Back to the Future lawyers line. Okay, so in the sequence where he's chasing him, Denzel's chasing Sid, and Sid gets on the metro station and like gets away. When Denzel is going up there, there is a general announcement over the LA Metro PA system that says the metro tunnel to Catalina is closed due to a recent 7.2 earthquake. One, kind of cool that there's a tunnel to Catalina Island. For people that aren't here, that doesn't exist. There's no
What?
There is no subway under the sea to Catalina Island. That is not a thing. Second of all, a 7.2 earthquake should put LA into the ocean. We should all be dead.
It's a pretty big earthquake.
It really insinuates that we have earthquake proof the entire city in a way that I can't even imagine how you would do that.
Have you considered nanobots?
Well, that's a good point.
They're secret, Joey. Jesus Christ.
But they could be
We've
anywhere.
determined
They're
their secret.
Maybe just the tunnel is
Nanobots are only for the cops.
But like the skyline should have been mostly toppled buildings and stuff.
that's the thing is that's like an apocalyptic event. This should have been a post. First of all,
It's
we've done
1999, guys.
very few post-apocalyptic films in this series so far, which is shocking.
Yeah.
because we know a lot of them. But LA should be a wasteland, which would have been so interesting.
Yeah, that's expensive though.
It
right?
would have been so cool.
They probably couldn't get Cannon's wrecked building set.
They couldn't find the set out in the
refinery.
desert. The one refinery that Canon Films could blow up
Mostly
20 times.
exploded.
Every apocalypse looks gradually more charred. I can't figure it out.
I don't know what it is. What is it? Interesting.
But yeah, that is a pretty
They
big.
saved that for robot people who are also
That's
cops.
where they all are.
Yeah.
Trying to serve drinks to no one.
I just think it's so funny. It's just so weird. What a weird detail. I know that it's a nothing thing. Like someone's assistant got where they were like, "Hey, write a thing for this," and
Loop
they
Group
was funny, right?
Loop Group
That's
come up with
future.
something. But like the implication of it is so
It's a fast
Radical.
and loose. Yeah.
it's
really loose.
insane. But it also totally fits this movie because nothing is consistent, and like every single future thing is totally inconsistent.
You know a future thing that was baffling to me that like
What?
didn't seem baffling because it was like a total movie thing, and then when I sat down for a second thought it was just so fucking bizarre is the neural tracking implant that they developed to put in Denzel's brain to follow him. Why would they make that? Like, what were they
With the
thinking?
with the
There were
poison in it?
so many people involved in this.
Yeah.
Like, what was for the LAPD? What were they planning
Do you
on
know
doing?
what that,
with
that's
it?
so funny, Ari? Because you phrased that perfectly. Like, because I wrote it into the microlocator implant. I wrote it in my notes, but I was just like, it's a movie thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about it. But like the implication of
Suicide
it is
Squad,
like, wow, a lot of people really took the time to make this tracker locator that you put in someone's brain and that has a poison caplet in it.
And you have to install it deep enough to
So
be
deep.
in
the
your brain.
So
and there's
deep.
a whole crew of people that do nothing but watch this one tracker. What were they planning that for?
A
Like,
doctor
you know,
came up with that process.
It was Denzel. They had to watch.
just Denzel, they're like, one day we're gonna create this AI that's gonna go fucking nuts for some reason. We're gonna need a cop who's probably a killer, but maybe not.
But probably not. I don't know.
Who knows?
I haven't
Did he
seen
shoot
it.
that lady? I don't know. By the way,
Anyway.
they never
No, they didn't clear
they
that
never
up.
cleared that
No,
up.
the doctor lady was like, yeah, it was shot.
But
the
no one
exit wound-
believed her. They're like, nah.
Yeah. No, we know he didn't do it. Obviously,
I
but
actually watching it. I'm like,
shot,
he
yeah.
shot that lady.
I thought he
Prob-
shot the lady
he
too.
probably shot
And
the
I had just
lady.
seen it. And I totally forgot about
I thought he shot the lady too. I think that a thing that we keep coming back to, which is not on my notes and not on the rundown, but is distressing, is that this does almost certainly all belong to the LAPD. It's really wild.
Just give thanks it's not the sheriffs and other fucking gangs, man.
You don't know what they have, though.
Yeah, they got some crazy shit.
God, the sheriffs and their gangs. Can you imagine what they're doing?
Those
They have
banditos?
secrets.
No, thank you.
They got full on nukes.
So I'm gonna deviate from our end of show question here a little bit.
Okay, please. I love
If you were gonna bring an AI to life,
okay.
what kind of AI would you want to bring to life? If you're not gonna bring the psycho killer to, like, what is the purpose of being able to do this? What is the
First of
best
all,
result?
Can
of
I just
that?
say that we're like 3 years away from the murderer AI being built?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
the
where the SID 6.7 is like, we're 5 years away from you being able to chat with that thing online.
It's on 4chan.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
like in 3
that's what
months.
they all turn into. They all start as, here's Homemaker
You're
Bot,
actually
and it's
100%
now Sid
correct.
6.7.
Yeah, they half of them just become this.
Well,
Yeah.
'cause look what we're feeding into them is just like the internet, all
Yeah.
of it.
That's
So,
not
yeah,
good.
it's
No one
not
should
gonna
have
be
that.
good.
Of course they're going to be messed up.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if you could program these little crystal cubes and bring one of them to life,
Love the cubes.
is it always just a fuck robot?
A snake.
Well, if
I
it's
like
just,
that
okay,
snake.
all
I thought
right,
it was
stop.
cool.
Is it an AI? Okay, well, when you say this, are you saying it's just the AI, like it's a computer program, or are we bringing it into real life with the nanotechnology?
That.
Oh, yeah, it's a fuck robot.
Always a fuck
Look,
robot.
I don't think it's the AI fuck robot because think how fucking tired you'd be of like, come on, baby. It'd be like 6 months later and she'd still be like, oh, I'm so horny for
a
you.
good
And you'd be
point.
like, oh, God, I can't take this anymore, man. Can we just like talk
Can
for
we
5
have a
minutes?
fucking conversation?
Can I unplug
I'm
you?
so wet with blue goo. Like, oh, you're not
Well,
selling it.
Now Ari's really made me rethink that. I don't think it's good. I don't think we want that.
I don't know.
guess-
Sounds kind of dope to me.
I guess my issue is, I guess, like, if you were like just an AI in my computer, I think I could think of a lot of really useful things. If you're saying that I have to bring a full person into my home all the time,
exhausting.
I don't know if there's any.
It's called marriage. Kyle.
I don't know if Bud,
Again, no
I'm
respect.
a single person. I have a dog, and he's fine.
Sometimes he's not fine. I've
Sometimes
heard
he's
you yelling.
not.
Yeah.
I love him. But it's like I just bringing a whole ass physical being into your life that you're not married to or in
could
a
be.
relationship with.
You could be married to
Yeah,
it.
but now I don't want the blue goo vagina. Now
get
I'm
over
freaked
that.
out about
You
that.
get over that in 2 days.
But I'm afraid that I'll give radiation poisoning to my dick because they're all little mini nuclear reactors.
Yeah, you get that necro.
I don't
dick.
want to Chernobyl. I don't want to Chernobyl my cock.
It just gradually falls off.
Yeah. You just get a nano dick after that. It's fine.
But there's a reason in the fiction of this world, there is
Yes.
a reason that they are able to bring these things to life.
Because it's a dumb movie.
So what is the
The real reason.
what is
Have you seen the Will Smith AI movie,
no,
iRobot?
no.
Okay, it's that. Don't worry about it.
But those robots
But they don't fuck them.
they don't fuck
they
them
don't.
and
He's
they
a partner.
they become like slaves or something. Don't
Yeah,
they?
they're
there's
like
an
everyone has
uprising.
one, basically.
So that's what this is then. It's
I don't
bringing
know
it-
if that's what it is, but I think that's the other thing with this movie is there's not really a clear reason why they made Sid, because it doesn't really make sense with the training thing.
Yeah.
There's not really a reason why they're doing nanotech, why the LAPD is doing nanotech beyond
in
just
secret.
to do nanotech. I don't know. I don't know why they built a
It's-
future
it's the
prison.
Patton
Actually,
Oswalt bit.
I do know why the LAPD made a
Fuck
future
robots.
prison, and I know why they made fuck robots.
It's the science, the Patton Oswalt science, not about coulda,
Yeah,
or all about coulda, not shoulda,
yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
So they had no plan
no,
for like now we can
Because the
replicate.
LAPD has so much money, they were just like, I don't know, science. Let's fucking do this.
nothing else is working.
Put it in a blue egg. I don't care.
I'd rather just take the money as like fake overtime. Nah.
Nah.
I don't know, Ari. This is starting to sound like science fiction when they say nana that. They develop science instead.
Let's
Come
do
on.
science. I got this horny nerd. He's real good with nanobots.
My brother-in-law's this horny nerd. Can we just give him a job?
Look, he'll make some stuff. I don't know. Maybe it'll kill a cop one day. I can't be sure.
I can't be sure. I don't know.
Okay, got
It's
it.
hard
There's
to
no
tell.
answer. There's no ideal scenario.
No,
just
this is something that
especially
should not exist.
For the LAPD, there's no conceivable use other than like we're making an evil robot strike force.
Yeah.
That's going to enslave humanity.
There you go. That's the reason.
But why does it have to be AI?
Because it's not a person. You could send them into the building that might blow up.
Well,
They don't
Okay.
have to be like AI though.
Ari, you just
Yeah.
brought up an amazing point, which is, shouldn't their goal be to make a super cop AI and then
Not a
put it in a
killer?
body instead of a super murderer?
Yeah.
And put it in a body?
Yeah.
Why would you not do? Why did you do the opposite
Look,
of the
You
thing?
start with one,
The-
then eventually you get to
The
some
project
time.
leader.
Yeah, the murderer one was easier to do.
We had all these murderer brains. I don't know. We shoved them in a hard drive.
That doctor had
Floppy disk.
already uploaded all of Hitler's speeches in Mein Kampf to his computer, so he's like, I already started.
Like that project lead doctor guy has a very acute case of so the movie can happen.
Yeah.
But I do think
He also just is in a hotel room for most of the time.
He's just hiding.
And he's just going like,
Sweating.
yeah.
Yeah.
like
Do
there-
it, Sid.
he goes
Do it to my
completely
pet.
evil all of a sudden for no reason. But like I do think bringing in making your police force
Yeah.
these goo boys that you can just
It-
bring all unlimited amounts
Joey,
to life.
it's a plan. It's
Got
a plan, and it makes sense. I totally get it.
It's RoboCop. They're making
Yeah.
RoboCop.
but
they
without
should-
the person core.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big
It's
thing.
it's
The
50
thing
of
he
the world's
fights.
most best cops and
It's-
Sylvester
yeah.
Stallone.
It's
who
the
happen
LA.
to be the biggest killers in history.
Yeah,
And
and
I don't know what that's
I
about.
don't know what it is.
They were great cops.
Yeah.
We put all of our best cops into one being, and it's like he's still super racist.
He's still Sid 6.
He's actually amazing. He's actually an amazing killer.
He's Lieutenant Jangle.
He just chokes people out. He doesn't shoot them.
No, he'd still shoot him.
Oh, why not both?
Choking him out and shooting him at the same
Tap
time.
out, bro. Tap out. Bang, bang, bang. You tapped out.
He
puss.
tapped out.
You can get out of this by pulling the trigger on this gun.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, that's dark.
All
This
right.
is like a Saw game now.
Yeah.
Call me Officer Saw.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of
Jesus.
Yesterday's Tomorrow Today. You can find more on our social medias at Yes Tom Today, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and on patreon.com/Yes Tom Today,
Yeah.
where we will have a bonus segment for this episode and every other episode.
Yes.
One tier level, one low priced tier level, which
Yeah.
we've not set up yet, but mostly as a way to gauge whether or not people want us to continue doing the show or not. We appreciate you listening regardless, but if you want a little extra content for each episode, you can head over there and get set up with that.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah, just join the Patreon. It's more just for us to gauge. We're not trying to be millionaires here. We just
I am.
want to know that, Joey's trying to be a millionaire and I'll ride his coattails. And we just want to know that you guys are interested. That's it.
That's it.
Do you want more? Do you want another season of this? Let us know.
Ari, thank you so much for watching Virtuosity again.
Yeah,
Oof.
thanks, bud.
Yeah.
We
Good
really
I forgot
appreciate
the
it.
whole movie, so it's really like watching it for the first time.
I will say that I also had watched it recently, and I was watching it. I was like, "Oh shit, yeah! Oh fuck,
This movie. Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, this movie."
No matter how many times I've seen this, there's still parts of it that I just kind of gloss over, and I just
Yeah.
remember eating glass off the dashboard.
But yes, I was gonna say, sorry, along the lines of the Patreon, join us on the Patreon because we will do a bonus segment for this episode, which is us describing. We're just gonna describe. It'll be us discussing our favorite
Brown.
evil movie AIs /
brown.
robots. So stick around for that. I think
Stick around over there where you put money
we'll
in.
go over there, and yeah, it's not stick around.
Thanks,
Oh,
guys. We'll see you next time. I've been Joey Reinish,
I'm Kyle McVeigh.
and that was Ari.
Hey.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.